Hi, I'm Brandon Dale, and today on Dual Controllers, we're going to be taking a look at cartoon games.
Yeah!
These are games...
Brandon? Why didn't you turn into a perfectly flat circle on the ground? That's how it works in the cartoons. I gotta get out of here.
Man, this show keeps opening up weird. Well, like I said, today we're going to be taking a look at cartoon games. And first up on our list, Ed, Edd n Eddy, The Misadventures. In Ed, Edd n Eddy, The Misadventures, player utilizes all three Eds in special tag team formations like the Tower of Ed, the Tremble Ed, and Batter Ed, to complete 8 levels that are referred to as scams to keep true to the show. The Ed's normal weapons and skills at attack include Ed lifting heavy objects, Double D using a slingshot to hit targets at a distance, and Eddie using the El Mongo Stink Bomb to stun enemies. Ed, Edd n Eddy, The Misadventures received generally mixed reviews from critics because of the unclear objectives, repetitive voice acting, and the game's short length. But it was praised for the game's graphics for reproducing the visual style of the show quite accurate, often to a very hilarious result. The next game we're going to take a look at, probably don't remember because it was a little bit before your time, but it is still a cartoon game, and we're going to be taking a look at Family Guy, the video game. In Family Guy, the video game, the game is split into 22 levels for 3 playable characters: Peter, Stewie, and Brian. Peter and Stewie have 8 levels, while Brian only had 6. Each of the characters have their own unique style of play. Peter has a beat-em-up style similar to Final Fight or Double Dragon. In Peter's levels, the player rummages across sections of town, attacking anyone in his path. Stewie's levels resemble a shoot-em-up style like Galaga or Space Invaders, but it also has similarities to games like the Futurama video game. Stewie uses an upgradable laser gun and a conveniently placed sky hooks to move around various stages. It's like that in Batman Arkham City. I mean, not necessarily Arkham City, but Arkham Asylum. There's always a convenient gargoyle around you can just grapple up to. Brian's levels have more in common with the stealth games like Metal Gear Solid 4 and Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. Brian must avoid detection by those around him and can opt disguises to fool onlookers. A secondary element to Brian's levels is avoiding the natural urge to urinate on things. I mean, because we all have that problem. Now, should you remain near the same object for too long, Brian will be forced to pee on them, exposing himself to those around him. For shame, Brian. For shame. A key feature of this game are the mini-games done in the same style as the cutaway gags in the show, usually lasting less than 10 seconds. The minigames often repeat cutaway gags from the show, such as Peter unexplainably burning his hand in a waffle iron. The game was met with decent reviews, nothing spectacular, and was often criticized because of, blocky nature of the game and not sure of what you were trying to do. But fandom has led to a sequel in which Stewie and Brian follow Bertram through several different universes, though not all of them are based on the Road to the Multiverse episode, which was extremely funny. The first universe is ruled by Greeks, the second Amish, the third paraplegic people, the fourth one's just everyone's evil. The fifth one's a pirate universe, the sixth one is where there's no need for Santa Claus since everyone buys their own Christmas gifts online, and the seventh universe is one that is invaded by giant chickens from outer space. Oh yeah, Peter probably loved that one. Well, it's that part of the show again where we cut away to Dylan's segment and we talk about retro cartoon games. Can't wait to see it because those are probably some of my favorite cartoons.
For retro, the first game on our list is
DuckTales
DuckTales is an action platformer game developed by Capcom based on the Disney cartoon show of the same name. Players take on the role of Scrooge McDuck as he journeys across the world to find 5 treasures to further his wealth. From the Amazon to the moon, players will deal with the enemies the only way Scrooge McDuck could. With his cane. What a cheapskate. Another fact, several people who worked on this game were the same people who worked on Mega Man. The next game on the list is Beavis and Butthead. Beavis and Butthead was a game based on the MTV animated TV show of the same name for the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo. The plot concerns Beavis and Butthead about to head to the GWAR concert when they lose their tickets, and now must find all the pieces before the concert begins. Players can take control of the dynamic duo and must burp and fart through police officers, the local mall, and even their own neighborhood. The next game on our list is based off a series that most people consider to be Disney's Batman animated series, Gargoyles. Gargoyles was a platforming game released on the Sega Genesis in 1995. The plot concerns Goliath seeking to put an end to the Eye of Odin. He must traverse Manhattan's rooftops and its subways while dealing with robotic foes who will not stop until he drops. Despite the success this game had with critics, the planned SNES port of this game was cancelled from its Christmas release of that year. Whoa, dude, the next game on our list is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the NES. Cowabunga! TMNT for the NES was the first TMNT video game and was released when the show was in its 3rd season. Players can pick between the 4 turtles of Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael to face off against various enemies sent by Shredder himself, including some foot soldiers. Utilizing their trademark weapons, they must journey to stop Shredder in his plans to use the Technodrome to take over the world.
Of course.
No.
That's all we have for Retro today. Now we're going to segue into our first special guest of Dual Controllers. But first one thing. Brandon?
What, Dylan?
So, cartoon physics don't work here, right?
No, Dylan. Cartoon physics do not work here. I believe we tested that.
You might not want to open that gift you're going to get from me. Just take my word for it. Just trust me, dude. Just trust me.
Hi, I'm Preston Ankney, and today we're going to talk about video games that started their own TV series. For example, Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog had 3 series during its run on the game console Sega Genesis. Sonic Adventures had 4 seasons, SatAM ran 2 seasons, Underground ran 2 seasons. Another iconic video game character of the time, Mario, got his own TV show as well, the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. During the 90s, the Super Show followed brothers Mario and Luigi along with their accomplices, Princess Toadstool and Toad, on adventures throughout the Mushroom Kingdom. Each episode, however, did not have a continuity with the rest of them. Many other series got their own TV show as well, such as Street Fighter. The Street Fighter cartoon was created in Japan and moved to America, where it lasted 2 seasons before it was canceled. It followed some of the same characters from the video game, such as Ryu and Ken, but they only had minor roles in it. Now that's all we have for the special guest. I'm going to get lost, and we're going to go over to Brandon.
Dylan, I gotta say that present is very tantalizing. I want to open it. You shouldn't have chosen such colorful gift wrap. Anyway, back to the show. The next game we're going to talk about is The Simpsons Road Rage and Hit and Run video games. These games' use of The Simpsons style humor received mixed reviews. It was considered enjoyable to both hardcore and casual Simpsons fans. But despite the game had a few problems, GameSpy said that it was worth it all to see the humorous parodies. In The Simpsons Road Rage, you pick one of the favorite Simpsons characters to compete against Mr. Burns' busing industry and carry many fan-favorite Simpsons characters to their destinations in the city. The style of driving in this is similar to that of Grand Theft Auto. But it was said that the style of game was too repetitive and could have included many different aspects of many different games. Just like in the Simpsons movie video game, where different characters had different playable styles, somewhat similar to that in the Family Guy video game, they felt that these could have been added into the game and gave it some kind of, storyline. But they got that in Simpsons Hit and Run, which was basically Simpsons Grand Theft Auto. Criticism of this game focused on its short, uninspiring gameplay and troublesome camera system, but fans still enjoyed it, and EA even was ready to produce a sequel in 2011, but the project was canceled. Well, our final game that we're going to take a look at today, anybody want to take a guess, huh? Absorbent and yellow and porous to see? Lives in a pineapple under the sea?
SpongeBob SquarePants!
Dylan, stop stealing my segments! SpongeBob SquarePants. There have been many SpongeBob games that have been produced since the release of SpongeBob and Nickelodeon. As 3D games became more advanced, SpongeBob was allowed to express himself in many different, decent titles, like SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, where you, SpongeBob, have to go through many different levels spanning all throughout Bikini Bottom, to jellyfish fields all the way to downtown Bikini Bottom, fighting different enemies ranging from thugs to robots, but mostly robots. The whole point of the game was to gather enough golden spatulas to move the storyline forward, in which you would fight giant robot versions of his friends, and eventually himself in the final battle. All these SpongeBob games were met with moderate reviews, but the kids just loved the cartoony gameplay and antics, including the various references and cameos of special characters to the show, including Bubble Buddy and
Nidaria Rex, King Jellyfish.
I gotta know what's in here. I've waited too long, and it's got my name on it.